Okay, guys, Palatime 215 here. I decided, after watching some of the duels that are going on with the Tipsat tournament, to watch Esfand versus a Shadow Priest because basically Esfand is doing just about everything right after thinking about it for a while. Typically I don't play deep ret, so it took me a little while to be like, I typically go more DPS oriented and less shadow resist oriented, but if you're deep ret, you've got these, you've got Grenade and Repent to help stop people from resetting on you, which makes the Shadow Resist suit much more appealing as opposed to other shenanigans that you would use, such as the Skeleton Summing Pet or Mithril Insignia against a Shadow Priest, for example. One second, need some water. Okay, so this duel here, the second one at least, is almost exactly what I would be doing if I... it's basically exactly what I suggest to do in my Paladin versus Shadow Priest video. This isn't a Shadow Priest, but it's not going to matter. It's all the same difference. The Shadow Priest is kind of doing some things wrong. For example, he should be opening these duels with like just straight pumping, mana burns into him. The resist chance be damned. You just need to deplete the mana as quickly as possible. He lets him beat on him too much, in my opinion, but it's kind of a foregone conclusion if you know what's going on. So I just wanted to show you from a demonstration perspective, basically what... Really, Mr. Horn Guy? What Shadow Priest versus proper Paladin looks like. So you can see he's using a fast one-hander. You can use this weapon, or you can use a flurry axe, or you can use a Mug of Hurt. This particular weapon has kind of a slow/stun effect, which you're seeing right there, and immobilization, I guess. And subsequently, it's almost as good as a Mug of Hurt for the purposes of what's happening. So what Esfand should be doing here, and he's kind of off and on doing a good job of it, but what he really should be doing here, there he goes, is he should be putting Judgment of Wisdom on the target and have Judgment of Wisdom seal applied, especially since global, let me get this thought out before I... Okay, so back when I was making my previous videos, Judgment was on the global cooldown. Now Judgment is not on the global cooldown, which means it's almost impossible for somebody purging you to try to get Seal of Wisdom off of you and off of themselves simultaneously. Because every time you're casting Seal of Wisdom, they have to purge it 1.5 seconds later. Cast Seal of Wisdom, they have to purge it 1.5 seconds later. And then this cycle gets broken up by the fact that every 10 seconds or so, in this case it would be 8 seconds for Esfand, he just gets to put Seal of Wisdom on the target, and then the target has to choose, well, do I remove Seal of Wisdom from myself, or do I remove it from the Paladin? And the correct answer is, I suppose you remove it from yourself, and then you remove it from the Paladin. But the point being is that you can never really stop the Paladin, especially with a weapon like Thunder Fury here, which is a 1.6 speed, from almost always getting the benefit of at least one effect of their Seal of Wisdom at a time, and then periodically like 2 effects. And if you want to actually do anything else... Was this the end of the first duel? No, he's not dead yet, but he's... Oh yeah, he heals to full hair. Oh god, what was I thinking? Brain fart. Yeah, so if you go watch my Shadow Priest versus Paladin video, you'll see why it is the superior tactic to continue to try to work the Wisdom angle. Predominantly because you're forcing the Priest to trade mana with you at a 1-to-1 ratio. And that's if they want to keep Seal of Wisdom off of you. If they want to try to go for the damage, and the situation gets even worse because you always have mana and you always have healing. Personally, like I said before, I don't... Pause in this. Really? Really? Okay, we are back. If that ambulance or whatever the hell out there would piss off, that would be very nice. Okay, so I think what I was talking about before was it forces something about forcing the Shadow Priest to trade both time and mana with you at a 1-to-1 ratio. and eventually they're just going to run out of gas and die because of this. Their only real chance is to try to fear you away, which is kind of why I like the fact when I do it as Holy Reckoning, I go more DPS and lower on the Shadow Resist. I'm not a big fan of heavy Shadow Resist. I think it's kind of stupid and cheesy. But for Deep Red, I'm really digging it because if he does get a Fear off, he can just come back with the Repent, or he can come back with the Nade and just start this situation up all over again. So right here, well, let me go back 5 seconds. Pause. Back, I think? No? Okay. Let me go back a little bit. You can see right here, Esfand fucks up. Like, Esfand just straight fucks up. I don't know where exactly he's screwing up, but if you notice, at some point, he just completely ooms himself, and he doesn't have Seal of Wisdom on either himself or on the... Okay, yeah, so he used the last bit of mana to judge a seal. It got cleansed off right there, and now he's got nothing. And you're going to watch for 1,000,000 years for him to get another seal up. Now, if he casts anything like he did right there, it better be Wisdom, so I'm looking for Wisdom procs. That better have been a Seal of Wisdom you casted on yourself, good sir. Maybe he cleansed himself. Yeah, but you can see he's still and he's still slowly beating on it, and everything's fine. Like, he's still going to win, but this is still tactically unsound. Like, he should be prioritizing almost all of his mana into Seal of Wisdom on this one. So eventually he does. Eventually he gets back up enough mana that he can start the Wisdom train again. Or it might just end. Okay, yeah, it just ends. But yeah, so this duel, if you actually watch it, and I do believe I got it time-stamped at like 5 hours and 45 minutes or some such. This duel is actually really good. A good demonstration of how Seal of Wisdom and a fast attack speeding weapon, especially one that can kind of slow you, is basically your boy. Now the brackets here have Esfand at 4 wins because he fought a warrior and then he fought a shadow priest, which are basically free wins for a paladin. He goes on to only get 5 in the bracket total, and that is really bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty bad. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the duels. Personally, Esfand's okay in BGs, but he's not well known for being a good 1v1 paladin. As you can see, Peaceblade over here did much better with 10 wins in her bracket. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah, that didn't work at all. Yeah, so Peaceblade has 10 wins in his /her bracket, which is actually a pretty decent performance for a shadow priest. My shadow priest, dear God. For a deep, holy spec paladin. I do have a number of critiques on Peaceblade's performance. His performance was definitely subpar, but if you've seen a previous video of mine when I talk about deep holy shock paladin, my assessment was you're pretty much going to run over everything in its dog, especially if you follow my guides, with the exception of mages. And you get to see this pretty definitively in Peaceblade's group bracket, where even though he's playing very subpar, he gets 1 win on the warlock, and then he gets 2 losses to the warlock, and then the only win he got on the warlock he got specifically because he did the most. Was it the warlock that it was, or was it the shadow priest? Oh, I think it was more the shadow priest. Yeah. No, so he murdered the warlock. My bad. He just straight up like murdered him, which is typical because it was not an SL warlock. It was not an SL warlock. I think SL warlocks are kind of banned from tournament play. And being a non-SL warlock, he does exactly what I suggest in my video, which he just goes over there and he fucking kills him. The losses he had that were really big, Peaceblade at least, were against. I'm very critical on were the losses against a shadow priest, or a priest, whatever you want to call him. And he basically did not go fast one-hander, and he judged a Seal of Wisdom only at the very last, and the only win he got on that priest was purely due to him having Wisdom on the target, and the priest not knowing he needed to cleanse it off. And even then, it was horrifying to watch because he was using like unstoppable force, and then the priest had wisdom on him, and the priest is slowly dying because the paladin is getting mana back from Judgment of Wisdom, and it was like the dumbest thing ever. It was like noob versus noob hour at that moment in the duel, because I'm like, dog, have you ever tested to see what the proc rate of Wisdom is? I can't believe you haven't. You need to use a fast weapon with Wisdom. You're not actually gaining much DPS at all from that unstoppable force against the priest. You're not generating mana back, and if he grows a brain and just removes it off himself, then you're screwed. So you can see the difference in just how easy it was for Esfand to murder his priest with the tactics basically that I suggest, and then how much Peaceblade struggled with it by not using the tactics that I basically suggest. But that being said, yeah, the holy spell build, even in the deep holy hands, it's just going to clobber people. So I haven't seen the rest of Esfand's duels. I'm assuming that he just gets mauled. Because I've had the privilege of seeing Esfand duel on Henhouse back in the day, and he basically came on Henhouse, got horribly killed, and then left. Is kind of my assessment of seeing Esfand around. Esfand's not really known to be the best paladin dueler in the dueling circles. Far better than Esfand is Drakova, for sure. And personally, I got a little beef with Esfand right now because if you've noticed in these dueling brackets, I'll let you look at it for a second. There's only 3 paladins and none of them are Drakova. But there's a Peaceblade who's also in Crusade, and I don't know if J-Dog's also in Crusade, but there's a lot of Crusaders there are a lot of people from Esfand's guild in the duel. In the tournament, but there's no Drakova. Okay. Well, let's ask ourselves, why would there not be a Drakova in the duel? And in one of his comments, somebody asks as much, yo, dog, are you in this duel? Are you in this tournament, basically? And Drakova says, I don't have the gear. Well, the moment I read that, I'm all like, whoa, time out. You mean to tell me that you were in Esfand's guild, Esfand is in this duel, in this tournament, which I'm very happy to see. Other paladins from Crusade are in this tournament, which is fine. But the undisputed #1 dueling / PvP paladin in the world, motherfucking Drakova, is not in this tournament because he is undergeared significantly, when in theory it's supposed to be Esfand's job as a paladin enthusiast to gear up my boy Drakova so that I can watch his bitch ass in a dueling tournament. So at this point, I'm kind of angry at Esfand a little bit for himself being in a dueling tournament, but not being a paladin enthusiast and not looking after the rest of us paladin enthusiasts and having Drakova in this tournament. I'm not happy about that. Like, I'm just straight up not happy. So in a way, I'm karmically happy to see Esfand get his butt kicked in these group brackets, proving basically that yeah, dog, we need Drakova. I don't want to see poorly performing paladins is basically what I'm saying. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be sure to make a look at the rest of these duels, and if I see anything interesting, I'll definitely make a video on it.